Hey, welcome to our episode of Chad's Beer Reviews. Got a pretty special beer tonight. Haven't reviewed a Southern Tier beer on YouTube in a long time. They've put out a lot of new beers actually a lot lately. The 2X Steam, the 2X Rye. I think there was one other one. Can't remember it right now. But anyways, today we're looking at the Warlock using the my Pumking goblet glass. So, here's the deal with this one. It's like an Imperial Pumpkin Stout. Imperial Stout brewed with pumpkin as a natural flavor. 2-row pale malt, caramel malt, black malt, Munich malt, pureed pumpkins, magnum hops, sterling hops, natural flavor. So, and it actually says this, Warlock is brewed to enchant your palate on its own and also to counterpoint our Imperial Ale Pumking. Make your own black magic by carefully pouring this Imperial Stout into a goblet, which is what I did. So, this is fairly new around Albany. We are always like the last to get Southern Tier, even though they're only a few hours away. Somebody else told me that this is basically, it's just pumpkin that they threw black malt in to make a pumpkin, so-called pumpkin stout. I mean, I love, you know me, I love pumpkin, but if they can add a little twist on it, that'd be pretty interesting. So, as far as appearance, stout had about a one finger head. It's been a few minutes since I poured it, getting the camera and everything set up. So yeah, and it smells exactly like pumpkin. It just smells exactly like cinnamon graham cracker, graham cracker crust. It smells like pumpkin pie filling. I mean, it smells like pumpkin pie. I really like it. It actually doesn't say roasted malt. It just says black malt. Although I guess black malt is roasted, so it's just kind of like a generic black patent malt, probably. So let's dig into this. Cheers. Ho ho ho. Yeah, it tastes exactly like Pumking. I really don't get any stouty quality on it at all. I mean, it's the same flavor, like right away, just like the nose, you get like that cinnamon graham cracker flavor. You get the pumpkin pie flavor. Some residual bitterness in there. I'm using Magnum hops, which is like a really dry, really high alpha acid hop. I think what the black malt is doing on this one is it's giving it like a smoother, like more velvety mouthfeel. I'm noticing that like it doesn't really taste like a stout, but it feels like a stout in the mouth. I don't think it's any. I think Pumking is like it's not particularly flat beer, but it's not like super spastic either. It's like right there in the middle. This one is like slightly on the flatter side, but I would not call this like a flat. It's not like a sticky beer. I mean, there's still energy in the mouth here. It has like this on the finish, I get this flavor of like Coca-Cola or Pepsi, some kind of like cola kind of flavor to it. Not root beer, just like regular old black soda. So it's fairly sweet. So up front it's like all the pumpkin pie, some kind of bitterness in there of like the hops and the crustiness. I mean, maybe there's just like a hint of roasted malt, but I think if there is roasted, I mean, they need to use like way more roasted malt on this if they want to bring that flavor out, because the Magnum hops, which I know they're using for bittering, because they're so powerful, they just kind of like that you're getting all the bitterness from the Magnum hops. There's like a tiny little bit of chocolate in there. It's kind of like through the middle. It's kind of like right, like you get all the pumpkin, and then there's like this, for a real brief moment there's like a little bit of milk chocolate. And then all those hops and like the bitterness come in, and then you get the soda. It's weird. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. I mean, It's gonna taste like soda on the finish. So yeah, it's sweet. And it's funny because like, there's a residual, lingering kind of dry bitterness. Pumking tends to be that way too, but that's more of like it's like a cinnamon sensation, and in this case, it's more of just like a, Magnum hop bitterness. Mm. Yeah, it's really good. It's I think it's a little kind of gimmicky because there already is Pumking. Like if Pumking never existed and they came out with this one first, it probably would have blew my top off. But I mean, since they already have Pumking, like the base palate, like 90% of the palate here is quite familiar. And I love Pumking. It's my favorite pumpkin beer. This one, I mean, it's hard to rate this one because it's so similar to a beer that already exists, and that the only difference being is that it's using black malt. So it doesn't really. I don't really. You don't approach this as a stout. I wouldn't even classify this as a stout. I just classify this as a pumpkin beer. I guess you could call this like, if we have black IPAs, why can't we have black pumpkin beers? It's really not. I mean, it's really not a stout. It's just a black pumpkin beer. I guess that's the best way to put it. Is it good? Yeah, it tastes great. And it's a little pricey. I think it was like $9.49 for one bottle. Usually stuff like that's like $8 around here. Well, Southern Tier. These types of beers, they tend to go between like $7 and $10. But yeah, I mean, it's really good. But I mean, between this and Pumking, I'd probably prefer Pumking. This isn't really adding anything to it. I mean, other than the slightly smoother mouthfeel. But I mean, I just wish like the stout the stout component to it was just like way stronger. Maybe it will as it warms up. Maybe we'll find out. But I'm not gonna, we're not gonna come back. I'm just gonna grade this now. I'll give it 8 out of 10 for the Warlock. I mean, I'm subtracting like a little bit of points because, it's not particularly stouty, and because it's so close to Pumking and all that stuff. So like it's, not super original, but I mean it tastes great. So I mean, if you like Pumking, you like this. That's all there is to say. Maybe for Thanksgiving I'll bring this one this year instead of Pumking. So, anyways, yeah, 8 out of 10 for Warlock. So that is it for this episode of Chad's Beer Reviews. Thank you guys out there for watching. I will see you next time. Cheers.